So I would say that the alternative information and some information not from the mainstream, which they write in English, they listen in English, they don't are on the place and so on, and they get some press releases from maybe Ministry of Foreign Affairs, from Pentagon and some other people. This is very important now for people to get alternative information. My information is not pro-Putin. It's not, it's pro-Russian, I don't know, but it's pro-human, I would say, and for dialogue, for understanding and so on. But what has been happening in Ukraine, and I think that one of the most important factors Putin went in, or began this SVO operation, is the announcement of Mr. Zelensky that he is going from Budapest Memorandum from 1994 and to be establishing a nuclear power under his own regime, government, let's say, Vladimir Zelensky. So this intolerable or unacceptable, I would understand such phrases from Sergei Viktorovich, from Lavrov, from Putin as well. So you have to be objective, because people in the West, they think, oh, Putin woke up in terrible conditions, he was dying of cancer, he wanted to commit suicide, and he decided to begin this war operation, invade Ukraine at 4 o'clock in the morning on 24th of February. Well, this is not the case, The prelude, we have a prelude towards these terrible things, and that is what has been happening, especially the last 8 years, if not more, in Ukraine. So we just have to be objective, and we have to go deep into those facts. It's a factologia. We have facts. It's not just the shallow surface. It's a deep historical and processes, breakup of Soviet Union, Russian Empire, Pan-Slavianism, Orthodox people, new Ukrainian power from which came feeded by this Maidan revolutions or putsch or coup d'etat and so on. But if you are a serious person, you have to understand what's the background, what has been happening, and why this is going in this horrific, terrible and tragic manner, which is now going on. So in Iceland we have way mainstream. I was Icelandic, working for 20 years for the Icelandic State National Broadcasting Service, and I was not agreeing as to some. My information as a Moscow correspondent was independent from Reuters, from BBC, and those people. BBC is going very low now. It was the etalon of good journalistics, BBC, but it's unfortunately they went low, and they are going lower and lower. So I went from this. They just say goodbye, we will do it from Reuters. But I was in Moscow speaking Russian. This is especially the Yeltsin regime, the Kosarev, this Minister of Foreign Affairs, I would say not a good professional minister. And how this was happening during, Yeltsin, Yeltsin, a sick person for 10 years. Anyway. So now I'm working for Radio Saka, it's another channel, but they began repressions against this channel. And it especially began after we just took over, this Bucha massacre. They claim. I just had the chronology, on a paper, what happened 13th of March, 34th of March, 1st, 2nd April, Sunday, 4th of April. And we took this over and analyzed. When Anatoly Fedoruk came to Bucha, when this Sergei Botsman, leader of some right-wing organization, came, and when those bodies appeared on the streets of Bucha suddenly, when this big delegation of foreign press came from the West, and reporting those terrible things. And for example, they claim that the bodies, they were lying 2 weeks or even 3 weeks on the street. It was 15 degrees hot. They would change in 2 days, 3 days, of course. So this was absurd, and after this we took this and just, analyzed this information from the West, which they were, just stamping into the people that the Russians are atrocities and sadists and murdering people on a bicycle, old lady buying bread, It was also interesting, they had the yellow armband, the white armband, which was loyalty in those cities. So they are repressing channels, they are closing down, they are firing them from offices. and so on and so on. This is a very tragic thing, and it's interesting that this class of journalists, writers, this intelligentsia or intelligent people, it is in Scandinavia, I think Germany as well. This class was always a little bit left from middle, leftist class, you know. But the Russophobia and the success of mainstream is so high that this class, this writer, they are such a hating Russians, and they don't want to hear another point of view when they are talking about tolerance. LGBTQ plus is good, should be, and tolerance to this. But if somebody has other information, deeper knowledge, historical knowledge, I'm also a historian and so on, he should be, never talk. You just close his mouth, eyes, and everything. This is horrific. And what is now going on, I think that the Crystal Knights in Germany in the 30s, they are going to come again or happening in Scandinavia, for example. Because they are, people should boycott advertisement, not advertise on this station, and those goods which are advertised to boycott them as well, This is from prominent social democratic thinking people, young writers, journalists in Iceland and maybe other countries, but I know my country. So the mainstream is stamping, filtering into the brains of the whole population, 95%, I don't know. But at last, I want to say that alternative press, I mean on the internet, those censorship on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, it's going harder, and the police is coming, and it's terrible stories going on in Germany, Holland, and other countries and so on. But the alternative, it is growing, and people are opening up eyes and many people don't read books. They're not interested. They take the mainstream, and we should kill all Russians. But I think 50%, even more, of people with education and thinking and thinking openly, for those open societies and so on, they want alternative information. And I think this process is developing quite quickly and in interesting manner and coming up. But those ruling classes, ruling elite, or how to put it, they are so afraid of other opinion, which is quite strange, I would say, while maybe they are hiding behind lies, because the Russians, Putin, and Lavrov, they just go sincerely, easy. He feels very good in audience, Putin. He gets some question, he answers us to his knowledge, and I would say in a sincere way. But when you are lying, you would be nervous. But Lavrov never came to United Nations with some capsula with white powder. What was this powder? Nobody knows what it was. It's not the method of Russians. So they go easily, and as far as I understand, they are reaching what they were trying to do. I don't know, but I go for peace, of course, friendship of all people, all nations, international and everything like that. But I would say the classes and the ruling elite in Iceland, in other countries, they are afraid of something. I don't know why, but this is a fact.